Whoa! What's going on, guys? This is Grim Reaper bringing you guys another session of the Boar's Hat podcast. Today we're discussing chapter 293 of Seven Deadly Sins. A lot of crazy shit occurred in this chapter. I was more hyped about one part of it than the other, but the other was supposed to be an exceptionally monumental moment. So we're gonna discuss that in depth today. We got two guests here, Manga Fairy and Ugly Bastard.
my, name, my name's right there, man.
It's still showing up as such. So
Yeah.
Wait,
Ugly,
really?
yeah. But he does the Tommy JayTv, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
the main one.
Tommy JayTv.
Yep.
What?
Check the description, guys, for the link to that. Hop in there. Check the description for Manga Fairy's channel as well. I think they do. What do you guys cover?
A lot. Attack on Titan, Eden Zero, Fairy Tale, Seven Deadly Sins, and I'm pretty sure I'm forgetting one, so yeah, check it.
Is Eden Zero hitting? I haven't read it yet.
it's pretty good. It's better than Fairy Tale in my opinion, but it hasn't been around as long.
Yeah, it is pretty good. Oh yeah, and I cover Fairy Tale 100 Year Quest. It's pretty good compared to Fairy Tale, I'm gonna say it, so.
I don't know. Kind of elite.
He's finally learning from his mistakes.
What's up with you, Tommy?
What I read Taizai, Eden Zero as well. I just started that. Compared to Fairy Tale, yeah, I like the world building so far. Like, I feel like my biggest problem with Fairy Tale was that like everything always took place in like the same area or like the same land. So like compared to Eden Zero, like we're actually going to like different places and things like that. So I think that's pretty cool. I read Claymore as well, and The Promised Neverland.
Fire. Both fire.
Yeah.
Promise Neverland is fire. I think the anime's coming out soon. In one of these next seasons.
Claymore's good too. I like Claymore.
Yeah, dude, it's pretty dope.
But none of the things that we just said are as good as Taizai. Not one of the motherfucking stories. So we're covering
Oh, this
293.
You knew this was
293
coming.
motherfucking 3. And this bitch ass nigga, the motherfucking dirty thief Bond, came the fuck back, bro. He came back from fucking God knows where to bring that motherfucking gift. And to tongue down his lolly girlfriend.
Hey, listen, it's been a millennia. I don't blame him. Leave him alone. All right, let him get some. Just came out of jail.
And he might end up in jail again.
She
if
built
this was
like a
modern
10-year-old,
times.
but we won't give him a pass because Ban's the GOAT, and Fairy Pussy has to be hitting different.
Oh god, no!
Oh dear lord.
He gets a pass.
Yo, all right. So let's go from top to bottom. Chapter ratings and then quick little chapter thoughts. Zarsa.
All right, I'm gonna give this one. I'm gonna give it a 9. It could be a 10, but there's a reason why it's not a 10. I'll give it a 9. I'm happy for Bond, low key. That I'm gonna go straight out the gate. This kid from like the beginning of his showings up until now has gone through a lot of shit. So I'm gonna give him the benefit of the doubt and be like, you know what? I'll let him indulge in his greedy sin for now. That's all I'm gonna say. The chapter was awesome. I loved the Holy War. Like, yo, you had a giant on top of like one of them golems and everything, trying to get some knights out of like his clutches. But these knights be dead, man. Like, yo, leave him alone. Let him die. Leave alone. Like, yo, that entire spread. Oh, beautiful.
What's up, Kishin?
I enjoyed the chapter, though, as Arso says, there's issues with it as well. I'd give it probably I want to say an 8 out of 10. Because I'm more happy about it than I guess I'm angry about it. Because things can always change, you know. There's magic in this world. But yeah, it had a nice ending, but it might have ramifications, which we'll probably discuss in more detail later. That's about all I have to say.
What's up, Fairy?
Yeah, so I'm probably gonna have to give it like an 8 out of 10 or a 9 out of 10 because I think all of us were happy to an extent, but we're all in the back of our head thinking this kind of is gonna backfire big time. So, like he said, I'm pretty sure that there might be like some kind of magical explanation to fix everything later on, but I'm not 100% happy with everything that happened in this chapter. So,
Somebody's gonna be talking shit later. What's up, Nye?
10 out of 10. That's all I need. That's all I need. That's all I want to hear. 10 out of 10. Bad is back. You reunited with the lane. That's all I needed. That's a 10 off rip. Honestly, I know what you guys are thinking in the back of your heads. Like, I feel you. We'll get to we'll speak when we get there. But I think there's a good reasoning and explanation for it. So I'm not mad at it. 10 out of 10.
Shit. What's up, Jay? I'm gonna call you every part of your name today.
You talking to me?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I thought it was a solid 8 out of 10, like you guys said. I think for Bob, man, I mean that's the end goal for him, man, saving the lanes. So that part, I'm pretty happy for him. I thought the spread was pretty badass, kind of reminding me a little bit of like some Berserk artwork. Just seeing like all the demons and stuff like that, just wreaking havoc on the land was pretty cool. And then yeah, just the immortality thing. I'm glad that there was like an actual like ramification for it. Him giving up his immortality and losing it. So I thought that was pretty cool.
Bro, I don't like the way you just skipped over the fucking Holy War. The reason why this chapter's a 10 out of 10 is because of the motherfucking... Bro, did y'all see these panels of motherfucking demons going in, and then fairies going in, and then giants going in?
I literally just talked about that.
We kind of did, Grimm. We read the same chapter as you,
bro. All you guys underplayed the fuck out of it, bro. All of you.
I don't give a fuck about any of that. Bad is here. Ban. Okay.
He kind of saved the day because they were getting their asses kicked, and then he just.
He just flicked his wrist, man. They were all dead.
It's like, I've beaten and eaten shit harder than you.
Might I remind everyone that the Holy Knights, or the humans, are facing off in this Holy War are technically supposed to be stronger than the ones from 3,000 years ago. Yet this is how well they're doing. So, to anyone who wants to talk shit about my boy Ro, just remember, him and 3 other dudes came through and wrecked Stigma 3,000 years ago. Don't play.
Bro.
Don't play. Don't play. Stop.
Bro. Hashtag Stigma, bro. Hashtag Stigma. Who's beating back the demons right now? Did you not... Hold up. I gotta say this.
Hashtag undead ban.
Did you
This
not
topic
see
has become a stigma.
what the Saint did, bro? Matter of fact, we're gonna get there. Just like you said, we're gonna get there. So let's start at the top of the chapter. So Bond's return. Immediately, Elizabeth asks about Meliodas. Quick speculation: how is that gonna come into play?
not well.
Might say a few words to raise her hopes.
I think there's something we're not considering. Like that could happen. That's gonna happen. I think we're gonna get hit with something out of left field.
Maybe like 2 Meliodases later on in the story.
I don't even know, because like it's something that I think we haven't considered yet.
Could you give us a consideration to maybe help consider?
But then I considered it. So then
Consider the consideration that needs consideration.
Yeah, so it's unknown. It's an unknown consideration that needs consideration, but it's unknown. So I love it.
I'm basically expecting the unexpected.
So we're pulling a Rumsfeld, are we?
Okay.
I mean, 2 Meliodas would be crazy.
I mean, they already told us he's gonna come back into his body. I'm just thinking, like, right now the Holy War is back even, right? We're back on even footing. They got, well, not on even footing, but like they got the OTG-men and Zodas, and we have the 3 heroes that we have. I don't understand why Meliodas would come back on Merlin's side if this was the effort that he went. But I also don't understand why he would continue and assist the demons after what's been going on. Hey, can somebody like mute their background?
Oh, that's me. My bad.
So that's what I'm wondering. Like, is he gonna come back and help the Sins or hurt them?
I feel like since he's the one who started the Holy War, that he's definitely going to be the one to end it, whatever that means. Like, if he... See, a part of me thinks that he's going to come back and, like, fuck everyone up, to be honest. But,
just everything.
Yeah, just everything. But, it's really hard to see who he's gonna choose, unless he just goes for the deities when he comes back. I don't know, like
That's
the main.
even if.
Go for
No,
it,
I was
go
gonna
for
say that's even if the deities even show up towards the end of this thing.
Yeah, that's true. Which would be cool, but
Maybe
It's going to be a problem.
maybe he doesn't really pick a side. He just single-handedly tries to save Elizabeth. I don't know. I really don't. I'm like, I can see the two Meliodas. I can see him being good. I can see him being evil. But I'm thinking I'm thinking too simple. It's not gonna be that. It's not gonna be that easy. There's something I feel like we're not considering.
yo, wait. What if like he comes back like evil or whatever, or his memories changed a little bit? But you know how Bond gave up his immortality? What
He
if
gives up something similar.
something like that, or something happens to Bond and it triggers like an emotional reaction from Meliodas and it pulls him back to how he used to be, and that's when he changes sides back to where he should be.
That would at least give credence to the. That would at least give credence to the elephant in the room. But
fuck that.
I'm gonna.
I like that idea. Now that he's mortal.
Mm-hmm.
Man,
That's
why did
scary.
he have to give it up, bro? Like, come on.
He had to resurrect the dead. He could only heal before, which was a misconception I kept having. I kept thinking every time he'd give up a little bit of his immortality, it was making the person immortal for some reason. And I was like, no, it can't work that way.
I didn't think. Listen, okay. You know what? Hold on. Let's hold on, because we're kind of moving out of. We're out of order.
Slow down.
Now at least like.
Let's get to the holy war. Let's get to the holy war.
Before that, wait, before that. Let's just hold on. Let's not skip over the fact that this boy Bond was sniffing for some coochie. All right, he went left and right. And then was looking for
You
the
just
coochie
made me
lane.
spit a water.
I'm serious. Let's not even forget that. He was like, where's that shit at? Where, like, hounding. Straight hounding.
My God.
Well, he never did ask where Elaine was. So...
He didn't have to.
Those fox traits.
He knew where he had to go.
You know how many years in? Give that man a break.
Exactly. A whole millennia of bullshit comes back and it's like that chick's within a couple of miles.
Yeah, he's there in an instant, usually.
All right. Now let's get to the holy war greatness. You fucking, bro, you're.
You gotta be defeated.
So
you gotta be stopped.
So we saw Matrona, Gilia, Hauser, Elaine, Gerard, and several fodder giants and fairies. Any thoughts on the sequence? Oh, go ahead. Yeah, go ahead.
My boy Arden. You gonna forget my boy Arden? Out there. Trust me.
I don't remember who that is.
He's a little archer who.
One of the Azure Knights.
I thought he was.
Yeah.
I thought
he's
he was
out
dead.
there. He's still shooting. No. What? Boy, he's shooting out there. He's straight up.
And that is him.
Yeah, I see him now. Him and Death Pierce there.
On the side.
Yo, really quick, I'm gonna need you guys to put some respect on my girl Matrona's name. She hit those demons with that fang of the earth, man. Like so many of those demons. Come on, man.
Listen. When she came back, when she came back, that bitch crazy. She's crazy, right? I'm gonna believe everything away.
You know it.
Respect. Out of all the females, she's probably the hardest. She's probably the hardest in the entire series. Derriere is pretty good, but Matrona, don't play. She'll hit somebody. I swear.
Respect her, man.
Yeah, then we got some more of the Pallades. Yeah, the little short guy. I guess that's the brother of
Twigo.
Yeah, Twigo.
He's one of like his 5 brothers. He has like Twigo and them. There's like 5 siblings between them. I think like 2 of them are already.
No, there's 3 brothers and 1 sister that we know of.
Sister.
They all
look the same.
She is of the no, strong arm. No, damn it, what is it? Armstrong.
Armstrong? No, that's not anything that comes after Escanor is probably that's the rule. That's the rule. It can't be those guys. Those guys, jeez. But getting back to it, yeah. This whole page spread literally had me walk. Like just the amount of mayhem that's going on. You had giants climbing on top of Albions just to get some knights out of like their clutches. Like, and you just had there was one knight standing on like one of those thinner Albions, and he just pulling it, just like looking at just looking at the rest of the holy word. I'm like, my nigga, like, what are you standing there for? I about to get slapped.
Where was you at later on, bro? You strong as hell. Oh shit, bro.
Yo, you saw like random shit throughout this entire holy war. Like there's a giant dead on the floor with like a hole in his chest. I can only imagine how like how bad he was. You had like you
know what's funny?
Who's that one little fairy?
Your boy got smacked and was about to get killed by a single demon, bro.
Yeah, I was saying to you,
dog. He saw Gilly on the ground. He saw his girlfriend on the ground. Gilly, no, fam.
Yeah, and it's by that ugly looking one. I forget what color it's supposed to be.
Oh, with the like
orange? Is it orange or is it like?
Hey, you're in the matrix a little bit, Zarso.
Am I? Am I better? All right.
I'll look it up.
Yeah, but like, my thing is like, yo, how do you get snuffed like that? Hauser. And like, yo, like not a single power up from my boy Hauser. They're really, we're just gonna act like that's just like a thing. Like, get power up, like.
So then, along the sequence, the goddess of beauty, the princess of truth, the guardian of the motherfucking fairy forest, Saint Elaine, came through and handled shit, bro. She handled shit.
Yeah, she cucks Hauser because because apparently she's that much better than him, which kind of made me mad. But I was like, all right, you know what? Like, good shit. You out here? You really out here? You been out here?
Let me ask you guys a question: is Elaine supposed to change in appearance in this fighting form?
I don't
think so. Other than her wings are different than the first time we saw them.
Oh, do you mean because King's a little bit like bigger and his hairstyle changed a bit?
Yes.
Or does he look a little bit older?
I think the quote is because I used the I am Gur translation. I think I found what I'm talking about. I says, "I'm not dreaming, am I?" That's when Bond grabbed her and he said no. And then she said, "My body and my wings reverted. I guess I used too much of my strength." So was she supposed to be looking different above?
Yeah. When she uses like her biggest move in a couple like pages later, like you can tell she looks a little bit older compared to like her more younger.
I thought I saw that, but I wasn't like, huh.
You have to really get invested to look. Like, don't get me wrong.
Yeah, you're a dirty pig for that.
Hey man. Listen, I don't like looking at it. But like,
he took the magnifying glass and was like inspecting that.
Hey,
2 centimeters larger than normal.
Oh shit, bro. Tempest
This video is gonna get flagged. I just know.
Oh yeah. This stream already got in it. But first off, just so we're all clear, it was actually a couple cups because let's be honest now, like the minute she reverted, that shit went straight to the flat side of the bar. That's all I'm saying.
Could you guys remind me what was Elaine's latest known power level?
I will look it up.
Cause this Tempest Waterfalls, it looks pretty extreme. Like there's several demons caught in it, and it's like dwarfing Matrona herself in size. So this isn't like a small attack. This is like some fucking.
She cucked Hauser. That's my thing. No.
He looked envious.
Yeah, bro.
Yeah, exactly.
Your boy got fucked up.
Exactly.
21,050.
21K.
It's not bad.
What's
She's
Hauser?
tougher. Hauser should be in like the 2K, not the 4. Definitely 2.
No, 4.
He's 4K?
4 or high 3.
He's 2350.
There you go.
Look, I tried to give you the benefit of the doubt, bro. I'm sorry,
he's not
that
that tough.
Nah.
Hey, he's tough. He's not that tough. But yeah, like Elaine's easy, stronger than anything on the battlefield. But it's like just the sheer number of them is just.
Let me ask you guys a question. Quick opinions, everybody. Who do you think would win, Matrona or Elaine?
Oh shit.
Well, wind can erode rock,
Team back,
but if
so
she
Elaine.
gets punched, she's gonna go flying.
I feel like Matrona has a lot more brute like skill in just
Yeah.
fighting. Like she doesn't have to rely on her power alone.
That's true. Remember, it said in the fairy can like 700. Trust me, human about to just like leave Fountain of the. Yeah, like she's also like if we're talking about battle hardened, like it's kind of hard to do. I would say Matrona probably like is a bit more ruthless, but like again, Elaine is just as ruthless.
I feel like Matrona's abilities are like a lot more versatile. Like I feel like in terms of like both defense and offense, like I don't know, I think she'd be better.
But mobility, like flying compared to like
Yeah.
swimming through the ground, like that's one thing. It's like like how do you expect to like really land attack when I can just like keep going up high?
Yeah, that's true.
I don't know, bro. Matrona, like this Earth Fang shit, you gotta fly up pretty quick to avoid that shit. And we know that she's
Yeah.
gonna throw up shit.
Yeah.
Like whatchamacallit? Delore did that Giga Crush, Giga Fall shit, where you have like the Earth like follow Meliodas or whatever.
Yeah, she's
Giants,
not.
they're
But
probably
thing is,
league
that's the
average.
lore. That's the lore compared to like what Matrona. Come on.
Bro. So you're telling me Matrona is that much inferior in the variety of techniques that she can use compared to Delore?
I'm not saying that the variety of her techniques are like pale comparison. Not at all. But what I'm saying is that you're comparing her attacks to the lore. It's like she was throwing like rocks and pebbles, or rather like she was
I
throwing
didn't say the
she was throwing
potency.
debris.
You don't need to have Delore level attacks to fucking kill Link.
Okay,
It just has to be different shit that can do different things.
Fair enough.
We've seen a lot that Matrona can do: spikes, throwing rocks, making holes in the ground, dents, turning the earth sand, heavy metal, all kinds of shit. Why couldn't she deal with some a little bit of dust, a little gust?
A little bit wind,
Yeah, a little afternoon
Plus
wind.
you have to think that right now they're like swarmed by demons. So if it was a one-on-one, she'd be using a lot different moves than she is right now. She's just trying to get as many out of her way as possible.
Yeah, like AoE
Yeah.
attacks makes sense.
Yeah.
And heavy metal is the key right there, man. She just uses that. I think she'd be fine.
Yeah, for the most part.
All
Yeah.
right. Did Elaine ever have beef with Gerard? Besides, like, obviously the whole body shit, but like before that, when they were alive, was there any beef?
No, there shouldn't have been. I mean, like she's technically considered like royalty, so I wouldn't even think so. Also, just real quick, I know it's like a little bit off topic, but my question is this: how come Gerard never knew about Bond for those 7 days? Like, I don't know like what her duties entail, but like to think that you would leave the saint like on her own for just like a whole week, it at least to me is a little strange.
Good point. Hadn't thought about that.
What are your overall opinions about Elaine?
Go.
The goat.
She's giving it her all.
If Ban likes her, then she raw.
Yeah.
That's all I need to know.
I don't know about that, Chief. I'm not
Top-
sure. I'm
top
not sure
tier.
about that.
Top tier, offer it.
She's
I don't make the rules. I just enforce them.
crazy. I don't know. Looking at her overall character, I mean, like, she's basically like a Meliodas, like small, unsuspectingly terrifying. Just unsuspectingly terrifying. As a person, yeah, she's not too bad. I would say she's a bit not is the word xenophobic xenophobic good. I think she did have a thing against like humans, so
I think she's gotten over that now.
yeah. Yeah, clearly. But like before, like her kid was kind of flat-ish. I would say her kid is kind of still flat, but not really. She's like like her kid is just very simple. There's not much she really needs to be.
She's really not had that much focus other than that side story, though. So
So it looks like that.
She's all right in my eyes. That's
Whenever
what
they
I'll
get
say.
their
She's all right in my
wings,
eyes.
they get stronger, and apparently they change in like appearance or whatever the fairies. So just for world building, I guess we can address that. Like, is the fairy forest weak at a certain point in time, or like it can be attacked and like it can just be destroyed? Because we saw what happened whenever the Albion attacked. Elaine couldn't like stop that on her own, but like now she's doing shit close to that, or if not doing that exactly. So what happens like that? Is the Fairy King supposed to stay alive until the next Fairy King is born and then grows up? And is like did something happen to the second Fairy King? Is that why like King is like that, or you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I know that Helbram said that the fairies got like lazy because of King, and I guess he himself also wasn't too powerful to begin with. But then again, I guess he was powerful enough for them to just feel lazy to begin with. If this has anything to do with the second Fairy King, because I know that like she's kind of like involved in like one of those Taizai games, so I don't really know too much about it. I haven't played it, so I don't. It's kind of inconsequential at this point. But yes, I would have there at some points in in its history, like the Fairy King's forest like does seem like decline and ebb in terms of like how powerful the fairies are, like like how vulnerable the forest really is.
Because we were discussing before the stream, we were talking about how Bond changed the location of the fairy forest, and he didn't have responsibility, but by doing that, by giving his blood, he was blessing the forest. He was recreating it. So then Zarso mentioned that we were told that Gerard said, as long as the Fairy King is alive, the fairy forest can exist. So it seems that he may have an actual responsibility and an ability similar to what Bond did to literally restore the forest. Could this be like what he's supposed to be? Like King getting to this. That's why I mentioned the Elaine thing. Like Elaine growing and being at this power level, she's very strong now. She could stop the attack that happened earlier on in the series. So with King at this level, is this what Gerard was referring to? That when King reaches his pinnacle, by him existing, he'll be able to like allow the fairy forest to flourish, or like does he have like some power that he puts over it? Is there like an infinite pollen garden that's gonna go over the fairy forest?
that could be interesting.
I always thought that it would. Well, actually, the pollen thing would make sense. I always thought that it was just that he'd become a force so strong that nobody would want to, like attack, something like that. But it would make sense, actually, the pollen thing. I never thought about that.
I said earlier when we were talking that the fact that the fact that disaster is supposed to like help the Fairy King essentially like govern the Fairy King's forest, at a certain point, like at a certain like level, obviously like they should become somewhat of a force to be reckoned. And seeing as how King was effective enough to keep the humans away when he was in charge in the first place, I mean, kind of it kind of shows you like how powerful like the Fairy King really is supposed to be, which is kind of weird because like it's just like one singular Fairy King, but then you have like the demons who are just like they're just like on a different level. I don't know why the races are just, like I know they're different, but it's like it doesn't. It's just weird to me sometimes.
Does the Fairy King gain any power from being in the fairy forest at all?
I don't think so.
I think it's really dependent. I think it's dependent on what they can do with their spirit spear if they have, because I think that's really like the key fact, like the key point of their abilities. Because like for example, you had Gluxinia, and he was able to like use drop of life like on like a fountain of youth type thing, and literally bring someone back to life after he like just killed. So I mean, like they could develop several abilities, I guess, dependent on like what they feel is necessary.
Maybe. That's getting speculative. So after we get the amazing scene of the Holy War, Elaine's wings fall off, and I guess she's losing her ability and her body, as was mentioned earlier. How does this like work, like with the spell and shit? Because I guess they were killing zombies, right? Bond was killing zombies when they were first coming up in the backstory, whatever. When we met his dad, right, in Zavago, he was killing dead people, right? So you can kill the bodies of the people that will survive from it. Right?
Yes. Yeah.
So there's not no bullshit that like you couldn't hurt Elaine or like that Elaine could stay alive unless she was a zombie. So how can you kill her? She can be killed in this manner.
Yes. Only because I mean, like, it was pretty obvious that she could get her. Like, what was it like? Was Bun already stressing about her during Vaso when she was when her and Elizabeth were facing off against those assassins? Like I'm assuming he could tell that she could probably take an L like that.
Yeah.
I don't know, because you would think that with the spell being that if you have regrets, you can retain a life force or something would happen, but I guess he has addressed it that way.
It's one of those weird things that happens in Taizai where it's like something happens and it's like you try not to question it too much just so that the story makes sense, and it's like the story doesn't try to like do too much with it. Unless it does, then you can start asking questions.
Exactly.
And then old boy comes through. I know that's what half of the viewers are waiting for. We'll talk about Bond. Oh, Bond.
Well, he is an old boy now, isn't he?
That's what I'm waiting for.
He's like, Elaine, I'm older than you now.
That's what I'm waiting for.
Alright, so old boy comes through and bodies like 15 demons at a time. One slice
Easy.
Yeah.
Easy.
What are you guys' thoughts when this happened? Just on this page, this panel. What's up?
Boy, if you don't stop with your flexing,
I counted 13 in that one page.
That's exactly what I expected. Go.
Just flicked his wrist, man.
Oh.
They were dead.
Yeah, honestly, like that wrist action, I was like, all right, clearly he's ready for something villainous. I can only imagine. First the sniffing, now the wrist.
When any anime character like does that wrist thing, it's over.
Mm-hmm. Like that one wrist relaxes their whole body, and it's like, all right, everyone, like here to Canada, getting fucked.
Yep.
What attack was that? The fuck was that?
I don't
Probably Crazy Hunt, because they were crazy to think that they would just like fucking kill this bitch and he jumped on the scene. Probably.
I'll look it up and see if I can find anything that matches.
I mean, come on, look at that shit. They all got mangled. That shit's terrifying. And imagine.
What if it was just a physical attack? Like just a normal physical attack?
That'd be that's worse.
I think that's what it's trying to imply, but like, this is too much.
This was, I think if anything, just real quick, I don't want to, I don't want to say this on stop it too long. I think if anything, that was like a depiction of exactly how powerful bonds become using like a simple like movement of snatch, or like a simple like use of snatch on people, but just like at this point in time, it's just pretty unholy what it looks like.
Yeah, I think it makes sense. He should be this strong because of what he's been through for how many years. It's like, I think sometimes people forget how long he's been there. It's not like, like I trained here for 6 hours. Like I'm pretty, like, no, like he's been there for centuries. Like he's been there for a
He fought the strongest motherfucker in the series.
Exactly.
For 60 years. Not 11 hours. Not 5 days.
And like I was telling people, you have to remember that Purgatory's environment is very hostile. It was killing him, but it wasn't memorial. He wouldn't be able to handle it. Now he's back on Earth, like clean air. This nice environment. Nothing's trying to just kill me for no reason. Like he's gonna be way stronger now that he's been here. After coming back from Purgatory, like this makes complete sense.
Never.
It is ban season.
Stop it.
What the fuck?
Stop.
Damn.
You scared me.
Manga.
I've been waiting for
I'm
this.
gonna call you Fairy. Hey, Fairy, what do you think about what are your thoughts on that?
I thought it was pretty fucking intense, and I honestly thought that it was just like a physical attack. So I was like, motherfucker. And it kind of makes me wonder how strong Meliodas is going to be when he gets back too. Even though the environment I don't think was as hostile for him. I'm not sure. I can't remember. But
it was to an extent. I mean, Bon was carrying at the time.
Yeah, that's true. Well, anyways, it just made me think how much stronger for a second there, I was like, oh man, Bond's gonna come in and fuck some shit up, but you know, now I'm kind of worried. So.
And, what's up, TV? Oh, there it is. There it is. TV. You already know.
Man, I swear you've called me like 4 different things already, man. I think it just like perfectly shows us just how far Bond's come with his time in purgatory, man. I mean, like, how many demons is this right here on this single page? Like, that's insane, dude.
Not enough to take him down. He need more.
Right?
I
I want the
recounted. It's
original
actually
demon.
15.
Where he at?
Where he at?
Where he at?
Where he at?
And then we get
Relax.
the iconicness. Bond in the drip. Right leg black.
What was that? A leopard print shirt? What?
That Gucci. Shit.
No, it's demon print.
It's actually Purgatory Dokur. Get it correct.
All right,
gotcha.
if you like, they aren't basically demons.
He's out here wearing like a Gucci shirt, man.
Clean.
Damn, bro. That might be the cleanest Bond's ever looked, bro. I ain't like that leather shit.
Yeah, for sure.
Well, except for that one bit on his
As long as
leg.
chest is out, that's all I need.
All right, so
Chest out.
Chest out. Yo, him and Gauther got like a similar like little outfit with the like crop top thing.
Hey man, listen. Only the best can pull it off, all right? Only the best can pull it off.
Hey, you're right about that.
Right before we get into the emotional bullshit.
Bullshit.
This
is toxic masculinity. That's what it is.
We must purge him of it.
So this motherfucker didn't want to heal one person before he gave up his immortality?
That's what I'm saying. Like, you just throw up on the Holy War, and it's like, you got all these people. Like, I get it. Your girl's there and everything, nigga, but like, yo, like, there's like a whole army of niggas behind you, just like hurting real hard. And it's like, oh, yeah, he healed her. Can you heal us? Sorry.
Fuck
G.
them. Fuck them. What is his goal in life? To bring her back and keep her alive?
Yeah, but like,
His 20-something year quest.
He don't need their help to wash them.
Excuse me.
You're adults. You went to war. Fuck
so
you.
talk
It's
shit
my
about
lady.
yourself for doing that, but when Bond does, it's all right, bro. Oh, yeah,
He's like, okay, well, fair enough. Okay, hold on. Let's get something straight. There's a reason why I'm okay with Bond doing this, and that's because this boy has been trying to get this girl back, and has done some dumb shit to try and get it done, only for it to blow up in his face. He's gone through some shit. All right, fine. You get to be selfish. Ludishell, there's absolutely no need. You're already fucking around with someone's relationship already, and then you're gonna go ahead and like play him like, oh, you weren't gonna protect me, right, boy? Like, boy, are you serious? Like, are you serious? Like, you're gonna stand here, take my girlfriend's body, and then like put it in like absolute danger, just like the worst kind of danger. You're gonna act like, oh yeah, I wasn't
the worst kind
ass.
of danger.
Yeah, I'm just thinking about like all the dead fairies and other people like all in the battlefield and shit like that. They're like coughing. They're like, yo, let me get a little bit of life. And Bond just goes, like,
It's like you could have done that before you gave it all up, man.
Yeah, like all that
If
savage,
anybody dies,
savage
it's all on
destruction,
Bond,
man.
man. You heard it here first. If anybody dies,
Bond is to blame.
He's a problem child. Let's leave it at that. He's a problem child. Kid does some dumb shit. Like, come on, dude. Really, my boy Hauser, like hurting. My girl Girlie just got shot in the side.
Yeah,
dude. Come on.
all right,
Like,
so,
everyone's hurt.
Fuck them.
Go on, be selfish then. Go on, be selfish. Hurry up. Finish up.
We're gonna go one by one.
He's given enough.
Trash ass
We're
thief.
gonna discuss the culmination of the story of Bond. I believe right now we can technically, with this last page, call it a conclusion. It's obviously gonna expand with Meliodas, but in reference to Elaine, what are your overall thoughts from day one, him coming to get that great ass treasure, till now being in a fucking immortal love circle with a fucking. What do you think?
He's a, he's a problem child. Let's leave it at that. He's a problem child.
What do you think?
Dude, some kid does some dumb shit. Like, come on, dude.
It's so beautiful. I love it. This is what I
Hey,
needed.
hey, wait your
I'm
turn,
gonna
fanboy.
go.
Yeah.
Wait your
I'm
turn.
gonna go off. I'm gonna go off of what Nia said
No.
earlier.
You can wait your turn too, fanboy.
Me? Why
Yeah,
me?
Keisha's leading us off.
All right, go ahead. Go ahead, Keisha.
Bond's basically been my favorite character since he was introduced. Because I like immortal characters and how differently they can be portrayed. Like, they can either be like, oh, I was questing for knowledge, or it's like, I just wanted to live forever because I feared death. And then you get Bond, and he's like, I just want a lolly. Fuck you all. So, and I just kind of hate how he's kind of been treated in the last, let's say, 50 or so chapters of the series. He's been low man on the totem pole, even though he's finally gotten what he wanted these last 20-something years. So I'm happy that he got it. I'm conflicted that he had to give up like that one attribute that I loved about him. But a happy ending is a happy ending, I suppose. At least for now.
Please don't do that. Don't for now. This happy ending to the end. Thank you.
This is a tragic damn series.
Thank
There
you.
are going to be casualties.
Thank you.
It's funny you bring that up though, because that lets us speculate more on whether what's more valuable to us as viewers, him and Elaine or him and Meliodas. But before we get on to that, Fairy, what are your thoughts on the entirety of Bond?
I agree. He was my favorite character since the beginning. When I found out that he was immortal and that he had his clear goal, I was kind of worried for his character development because he was so stagnant. Like, he just stayed what he wanted and doing what he was doing. But then as the series continued, you saw a lot of character growth, like him regretting what he did to Meliodas, him trying to do certain things for the fairy forest, all these different kind of things. And I agree, he has been kind of getting shit on for like the past 50 chapters, and every time that he tries to do something serious, like, they just dissolve him, and it's like, but he's immortal, whatever. So for him to get what he wanted, in a sense, like, that's pretty great, but I feel like it's gonna ruin a lot of things. And yeah, we'll get into it later.
What a wonderful conclusion.
Yeah, I'm looking at
character arc. I don't know that character arcs are like over, but like that he's completed what he needed to do in life, which is to steal Elaine. Oh my god, that was a bar. The first time I heard him say that, I was like, "Yo, I'm gonna have to use that one." But
yeah.
What do you use that?
I did. Bad's probably one of the characters I ended up liking the most first. I wasn't really attached to anybody until like I knew about his story with Elaine, and that line came, and that was clean. But really, like, the reason why he wanted to be immortal to me was cool, because he's just like, maybe if I live long enough, I'll figure out why I was born, and maybe I'll find a reason to, like, to live and whatnot. He lived poor, he's been stealing and stuff. Like, that dude is cool. And one of my favorite scenes with him is when his name is Zavago. I can't remember his name, like the Beastman guy. Yeah. That moment where he kind of brought up like, oh, he used to have another son, blah blah, X, Y, and Z, and he immediately was like, yeah, that was me, but don't worry about it. Like, it's water under. I'm not mad at you.
Hold on.
I would have been angry.
But Bond wanted the fountain so that he could find a reason to live.
He said something about maybe if I just lived long enough, he would have been like,
that's fucking badass, bro. What?
Yeah.
How do you know that shit? What the fuck?
That was some weird shit. That was like, it was clear cut in the beginning, but it was just something that like actually stuck with you. It was like, okay, this guy really just has nothing better to do in life.
All right,
weird.
Listen to my face, and then we can pop it.
Yeah, but like I feel like most other characters, like that like thread would have gone on way longer than we needed to. And like 50 chapters later, he'd have been like, "Oh wait, you were bad." He immediately came clean and told him, "No, like that was your literal biological son. I would have been mad at you if you didn't go do that. Like that's a real nigga. Like I fuck with bad." And like everyone kept saying, when it came to the combat side, he got pushed to the wayside, and the only thing that was keeping him relevant was his immortality. That is why I'm actually very happy he does not have it. That is the author telling me he does not need that crutch anymore. He's strong enough to fight and be a top tier without relying on immortality and healing. He's fucking strong. I can't wait.
Ears, Naya. Ears. We have ears. We don't want them to bleed.
Okay. I see you, Naya. I see you,
All
Naya.
right. What's up, TV?
I mean, I think you said it best, Grim. Like, this really is like the culmination for Bond. I mean, I feel like the moment this dude hopped out of prison and was, you know, how he was like fucking around with Jericho and stuff like that, I was like, you know what, I fuck with this guy from that moment, and then just like leather jacket too. But yeah, this is like everything for him. I feel like the most important things to him are, you know, his relationship with Meliodas and of course Elaine, and the fact that he was able to get, you know, Elaine in the end is everything for him, man. I'm glad that he's not a meme anymore, you know, because like you guys said, like the last 50 or so chapters, he's just been like, just nobody's been giving him the respect he deserves, and now it's like he's there, man. So I'm happy for him.
You go respect him.
Oh yeah.
Undead Bond. Is it undead?
I have a question for everyone, real quick, before I go. But how well do you think Bond would have done against Derriere and Moan Speak compared to Mariskella and fucking Gallon in a fight? Personally,
What do you mean, like right now?
no. When they met him originally, if you just switched out the commandments,
He would have got bodied.
Yeah, he would have
But
lost.
still got bodied?
Yeah.
He would have been beaten and then burned.
He actually uses Hellblaze like actively, so he would have fucked him.
Yeah.
Like he could have fucked on Derriere for quite a bit. Sorry, TV.
Ooh, let's calm down. Let's calm down a little bit.
He probably would. But then again, like they're both kind of physical. And then again, it's like, remember, Bond has been hit with Purgatory Fire before.
He's gonna have to use, like, what's it called, a fox hunt or whatever. He's gonna have to use it because the power gap is too big, and he can't maintain it for long enough for it to matter. So he's gonna lose no matter what.
If he gets their hearts, because I'm pretty sure he's still going in there with the knowledge that they have hearts missing. Remember, like Derriere and Monspeed are missing a couple hearts. If you don't remember, like Monspeed needed one heart dead to get killed versus Esterosa. If you switch out that with Bond,
you think
Bond,
that dirty thief is gonna get? No, fuck out of here, bro.
Yeah, he will.
Shit.
Yeah, he will.
No,
Yeah,
no,
he
no.
will. Yeah, he will.
Even that won't go that far. He wasn't beating any of them at that point in time.
I don't know.
But now, that's a wash.
I think it's different. I think it's only because Mariskella was fucking and her abilities came through. That's what was geared to hit Bond. No one else has something like that where they can actually hold him down and take out his soul. You have to forcefully do it.
All of the higher demons can take your soul. Every single one. From Meliodas to Fraudrin. Every single demon can walk up to you or stand 50 meters from you, and some can even stand in the center of a city and take your soul. They've all shown
unless you're strong, because remember they ate strong souls specifically, and you have to go hunt those guys down. And there were some guys that weren't.
What do you mean
down.
unless
remember,
you're strong?
We saw.
The is strongest nigga got his shit popped out, and because it was too hot, he couldn't eat it. That's not the spell's fault. He got his shit popped out. If somebody could have eaten that soul, Escanor would have been done.
Common folk can get their souls taken out. Common folk can get their souls taken out.
Escanor got his soul removed for a reason. That was to show us that power can work against anybody.
Why do you think Holy Knights don't get their souls taken out? Because they have stronger souls than average people. So obviously they're gonna have to actually fight the demons.
What do you mean?
And a lot of them die.
Holy Knights did get their souls taken out. Remember the Ruin and the other girl and the bug girl? Fraudrin walked up behind them and ate their souls.
Yeah, but he had to go forcefully
them,
do that. Yeah, exactly. That's,
we saw
Derriere is actually stronger. That's the one is actually stronger.
We saw
if you're weak, you can just call out their souls.
We saw Derriere and we also saw Maricela stand in the middle of a city and absorb all the souls before. We've seen that. Demons, higher demons have the ability to take your soul, whether they're touching you, whether they're 50 meters from you, or whether they're in the center of a city. They've shown those 3 feats. And the fact that Escanor had his soul removed, and they literally told us it was too hot, that's why she couldn't eat it. Now, why she couldn't remove it, that ability is indeed efficient. It will work, no matter who it is.
I'm not saying it won't work no matter who it is, but what I'm saying is it's dependent on how powerful the person actually is. Because someone with a stronger soul, you can go ahead and just be right there trying to call out their soul, and it probably won't come out because they're strong enough to actually keep it in.
I disagree with
that. I disagree with that too. when they okay, when souls are actually like extracted, like people are normally like held down in one way or another. Like strong people, Meliodas, you're not calling out his soul right in front of him. He'll slap the shit out of you. Why do you think they held him? Why do you think they had to have him completely immobilized? There'd be no way.
This example
And he was
does
still
not
resisting.
work
And he
on
was no, and he was still
screen.
resisting too. And he was still resisting too. So you can't say that
All right.
that's gonna play.
We're taking too much time on this. We got to get back.
We
on
are.
the ball.
All right, let's go.
Yeah, we're already at 52. All right. So, by the way, your thoughts on the entirety of Bond?
Entirety of Bond. At the end of the day, again, everyone loves Bond. Everyone loves. I can't even like stress that enough. As everyone could hear, everyone loves Bond. I love his immortality, and I liked how Jade was as a character. I do like Jade characters. I think it's like Mugen and shit, or Jin. Guys who just kind of like don't really see much, and like they're kind of like at the wayside. Just like they're kind of like their disposition. Just kind of like I'm kind of like floating. There's not really much I really care much to do. Like I kind of have some baggage, but like like I'm just kind of out here doing some shit. And Bond and what he actually ended up finding that's kind of cool because like, it's not just Elaine in Bond's life; it's actually Meliodas. And I remember like his biggest confliction in life was the fact that he would sacrifice his own best friend that he's actually ever made, like outside of like Javago or anyone else. It was essentially just Javago and what his sister who died, and Elaine are like the only people in his life met Meliodas and like literally they have to compare them in like the same panel when he was explaining what he actually did, and it was like these are like the two most important people in his life. He got validation from one person who he considers someone like of like with like the utmost respect, and finally was able to reunite with his own loved one. When Naya said that he doesn't need the immortality crutch, like that didn't even occur to me because at the end of the day, it's all like if he really doesn't need it, shit, your boy's out. Then your boy really is out here. But I don't know. It's like like the immortality was just like I don't know. Like it was something about it with his jaded like character that I don't know. Like I really attracted me towards him in the first place. But I mean, I'm happy for him. There's nothing.
You also have to remember he didn't have it his whole life too. Right?
He didn't.
So
he didn't.
It's not like he was born like that. So it's fine.
I personally did take a big issue with that, but this is like. And I mentioned in the beginning, and so did manga, that like these were like the favorite characters that they had in the beginning of the story. Me, when I first read Taizai, it was first the scene of the Guild Thunder throw that caught me into watching.
That shit was raw.
Yeah, that got me into watching the anime. And then once I watched the anime and I saw Bond's backstory, I was like, this is the greatest series ever. And then Nakaba continued to elaborate with amazing backstories and amazing intertwining stories on the screen. And his is primarily one of the best ones, one of the longest running ones, and it contrasted to the other greatest one, Bond and Meliodas. Like, this character in general has been used by Nakama in such a great way. It was really painful to see how, like, people were talking shit about him, people were mentioning all kinds of shit, people were, like, trashing Bond. Even Nakama himself made Merlin be like, oh, what are you doing, Bond? Just get back. Back when Chandler was coming to kick these niggas' asses the first time. Like, Bond has been trashed so much. But that's
all about the long-term payoff.
But that's what makes me like. If we didn't get the purgatory flash or the purgatory information, I would think that this reveal for Bond would have been straight trash. And I still kind of feel that way because we haven't seen that much of it. All we know is that they wanted to be together. He had to kill Maricela in order to get it done, and then he did this to get his friend back, and he could have sacrificed it as well. It's and especially the fact that like. He just gained his power in purgatory. I'm not sure if that's a good thing or a bad thing. Like that he didn't like go on a mission to gain a power to like bring her back and shit. That like he just happened to be in purgatory for his friend, and then because he helped his friend out, he happened to get this. Is that like too cliche-ish, too game cliche-ish?
Technically, like going after Meliodas was technically a mission like in itself. It was like, yo, go get him. All right, cool.
I don't know. I loved seeing this end because like this is what was supposed to happen. He was supposed to come back and get his girl, meet up with her and shit. It's just
And you know what?
It's really giving up immortality. It's really what it is. Everything else I said, I'm completely fine with. Fuck this, like fuck, bro. That's why I like this nigga, cause you can kill him 100 different ways and he'll get back up and still fuck you. That's why I liked him.
But now you can't even put him down.
Yeah, that's my thing. It's like, what is he now? Is he like a Superman type beat? Because think about it, it's like his body's clearly evolved and changed, and I can only assume that like he hasn't completely lost some of the attributes that the fountain kind of gave him. Like I can only imagine that he could probably heal someone if he like drains power from like an adversary, and like gives off someone some power because like his power level is so much higher than theirs. That wouldn't be too much of a stress.
He might have
I
an
would think.
accelerated healing.
I think it's gone. I think it's gone.
Because okay,
that's like that's a bit of a cop out. Like why bring it up then if you're gonna be like, well, he kind of still has it though. Like that's
fair enough.
I don't like that.
So then, let's also go up and down and answer this. What's next for Bond in the lane then? Is it like, are they just gonna live together until their death, or is something gonna develop differently? What's up to you?
Make some kids.
It's time for them to help Meliodas now.
Make some kids.
And Elizabeth.
Go make some kids.
What do you think?
Wait, you guys think Elaine's actually gonna join like the battle with Bond?
Yeah, she's healed. Why would she?
I don't know. I mean, that'd be interesting. I didn't even think about that. I just thought that she'd just be left behind at the forest, but
I wouldn't.
Yeah.
Clearly, you can't be left alone.
Yeah.
Clearly, you can't be left alone.
It's like you're safer by my side than in the fucking forest.
Yeah,
You're coming with me.
Clearly, and that's a tragic thing about like fairy kings and like their sisters. Like, clearly, like, the fairy king girls can't be left alone because something bad just happens. Like what?
Yeah.
Like isn't like the second fairy king a girl? I think like the game explains that like she's like caught in the demon king's tower in the underworld. I'm like, how the fuck did she get there?
What are you even doing there?
He came through the floor.
Jahar? Look at Jahar. Jahar lost his legs and an eye. What the hell? And then Elaine, killed by a demon, revived by a demon. What? These girls clearly need they need supervision at all times. There's a reason why Elaine's a child. Okay.
He's going off. Then we go to the panel and gift. It says it's nowhere near the last time. I'm going to hold you so many more times. And I guess it's described as saying
oh, my heart.
quote a year.
So fairies age a lot slower than humans, right?
Much.
If they were to go live their lives or whatever, wouldn't Bond just end up dying and then she'd just be alone for the rest of her life?
Yeah, because they can live like 1,000 to 1,500 years, and she's only 700.
Yeah,
Amen.
I don't see a happy ending for anything going on right
He's
now.
got maybe 50 at best.
Maybe Bond after giving off his immortality is just like indestructible as all hell. So he might live a little bit longer.
That's literally the hint that's gonna give us the rest of the information. Whether there's gonna be some other bullshit coming up about him not really giving up all of his immortality, or like him
retaining some properties.
Yeah, or there already being another like fountain of youth. Something like that is gonna be addressed. I think because of that little factor. That what is just gonna be together for like. What's the oldest? Do we have an age for the oldest human?
The oldest human, probably Bond. Probably Bond. That's probably
Bond's only 40.
No, he's not. He's older. He's older.
He's
older. He's like I think.
I swear he's in his 40s.
That's his chronological age in the real world. God knows how old he is technically.
I think because I went and checked the wiki, but you can never trust the wiki. But the wiki said that he was like 1,400 something.
Yeah, we're talking about chronologically, like whatever it is.
From purgatory,
yes.
At least from purgatory.
Now, without the assistance of the Holy Three, he should have a regular human lifespan. Correct?
Yeah, and he's 20 years old. Like his body's 20 years old.
Yes, however, I don't think we should skip on the fact that Meliodas even said that you've gone through kind of like a transformation. So whatever that means, right? So whatever that means, is still left to be said. So like Grimm, so like I said earlier, that there might be some things that were retained that he might not have his immortality, because the idea is that the sins are kind of like monsters. So like mortal damage like isn't like a real problem for them. Like it never really has been. Look at Diane, King, all of them. They all like take stupid damage for shit, like, for people who should normally just get bodied, but then they just come back.
My nigga King,
So
that's a motherfucking tank, nigga.
yeah, like King
Tank.
gets slapped by an Albion, but like get like obliterated. I'm like, what? What?
King may have taken more damage than any other sin besides Bond and Meliodas. It may be that way.
Yeah.
But then again,
I think Bond wins. He's basically been almost disintegrated.
he's been completely disintegrated.
Didn't S
Yeah,
also
yeah.
turn into nothing?
Yeah.
Exactly.
Oh yeah. Forgot about
Yeah.
that.
I'm Cell, bitch. You ain't getting rid of me.
Meliodas turned into like Swiss cheese one time too. Yeah.
Yep. Or at least a pincushion, a really cool looking pincushion. I'd keep the pins personally. Those swords.
That's
oh
what
my
it
God,
is. It's because it's connected to a funny trope. Why it's. Come on, bruh. This
What?
nigga has been killed
the
every
immortality.
kind of way, bro. What you
Yeah,
saying?
that's true. So here's a question: do you guys think this, without his immortality, do you think this is gonna like affect his fighting style in any way? Like, does this make him a little less aggressive in battles, or
Yes.
like is he gonna try to be a little more careful because now he can actually
He just
die?
needs that fucking sacred treasure, goddammit.
Yo,
Uh,
I need him to get that. But honestly, I could see it going either way, where it's like he's just so much stronger now, where it's like I just feel like his body is just tougher in general too, because of purgatory. The way that they honed his body, like, it's probably much stronger. So like,
note the transformation bit, right?
yeah,
so it's like
attacks,
he's not
certain attacks are not gonna like hurt him to that degree. But
Yeah.
he can't just go like all like super reckless anymore. I definitely think that's the case. That's the case too. But
Here's
Do you think it's gonna be on like an Escanor type regeneration beat? Because like Escanor himself can also regenerate to an extent, like mortal wound for him, kind of close up, you know, when he transforms and shit.
nah, he's flexing that shit.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't like using the scanner because he's the exception, not the rule. He's literally an abnormality in the series. So I don't wanna compare it.
I think you can, only because remember, like, most of the sins kind of like appear and you never know what they are until like you figure out what they are. Because remember, Gother got his head cut off and we never knew he was a doll until, like, you know, they said it. It was like, oh shit.
Now my point is that, like, with him, you can't use logic. He's just gonna break it with his power. Like,
Fair enough.
Same thing with Merlin.
Yeah, exactly.
Could he have gained longevity instead of immortality?
That's kind of what I'm thinking. Like, maybe he'll
Exactly,
live a lot
yeah.
longer, but not be immortal. I'm okay with that.
Exactly. That's what I was trying to say earlier. Yeah. So like he lost the immortality aspect, but it's like he still has, like, you know, like a bit of the qualities from like the Fountain of Youth. Like his blood should probably like still be able to restore people. I would say so, probably, right?
I mean, if you could bring someone back, there's gotta be a way to extend lifespan. Like,
Who knows?
If you could come back from the fucking dead, you can extend someone's lifespan.
Fair enough.
Are we gonna talk about like our predictions in case something does go bad, or are we gonna save that for another time?
Lead the way.
There you go.
Oh, okay. So I think there might be like 3 possibilities. One, like I said earlier, that he's gonna die, and that's gonna cause some kind of chain reaction either to Meliodas or the other sins, and that's gonna turn the tides. 2, you know how King just sprouted his wings and became like an actual fairy king?
Yeah, we know. Yeah, hell yeah. He pulled out the movie.
Yeah.
Yo, this kid.
If something happens to Bon, I'm wondering if he's gonna gain the same power that Gloxinia had with the drop of life, because now he has his wings and he has that kind of power. So that's something else I'm
We
wondering
haven't
about.
seen all of the forms yet.
Exactly.
Oh.
Exactly. Oh, and then just the last thing is, I think what you guys were saying, that he retains some sort of immortality, but I'm kind of hoping for the second one because that seems pretty cool on King's and Bond's part. So
Could you repeat the
Finally
second
accepting the new brother-in-law.
We haven't.
Yeah.
one?
we
Hold
haven't
on,
seen
hold
all
on, hold on,
films.
hold on, guys. You said something about the drop of life. Could you repeat that part?
Wait, what? Y'all cutting out?
Am I cutting out?
Yeah.
Fairy, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, you said something about the drop of life. Could you repeat that?
Oh yeah, no, I was just wondering if something happens to Bon, if King would either have more faith in himself or damn, my fucking voice, hold on. Or just gain like because he'll see Elaine and her reaction, and obviously that's gonna tug at his heartstrings, and he's gonna bring out the power of the Chastieful and be able to use Drop of Life like Luxenia, now that he's on his level.
Or
Isn't Pollen Garden
very much
Yeah.
surpassed it.
an
Yeah,
effective
yeah.
variant of that?
Yeah.
That's what I thought it was. Like, cause I'm expecting it to be that. And Kishin, if you could look it up real fast, what form was Drop of Life when Luxenia used it? Cause they're the
I
same
believe
forms.
that was. Let's see.
Moonrose,
Yeah.
off the top of my head, Moonrose.
'Cause I'm pretty sure that that Sunflower is supposed to be Drop of Life or Moonrise's variant instead
That'd
of
be
Pollen
really
Garden.
cool.
Yeah. So and we already saw it turn into that big ass
That was
sunflower.
Form 7 Moonrose.
Money.
Okay, and look up
Money.
for King if Form 7 is Sunflower. Because if it is, then Sunflower will turn into a Drop of Life variant. Like
No,
that.
it's Luminicity.
fuck, dog. What are you doing?
But he's got
What do you mean?
he's
What do
got
you do?
Form 9 and 10 to go.
Yeah, that's true.
That
We
was
got
like
4, 9,
top
10.
3, or excuse me, that was like the only trash form of the Chastieful. Luminosity bullshit.
And, but here's the thing: we don't even know what else it can do besides just glow.
Nigga.
You don't know what else it can do. You don't know. Yo,
So
yo,
I'm
that's the
supposed
thing.
to assume it could do more. I seen it glow, but it can shoot shit too. Fuck out of here.
Maybe it
Yo.
brings the light back into your eyes when you die or something.
Ooh. What happens now, Grimm? What happens now? What happens when Luminosity has like the same powers as Moonrose? Then what are you gonna say? Then what are you gonna say? Are you gonna say Moonrose Grimm? Is that gonna be the new name?
You already
The new
know.
handle?
You already know.
Trash ass.
Drop of Life like a sunflower drip.
Disgusting.
Yo, Drop of Life goat.
Bro, you
Fuck.
can't tell me too. A fairy and a giant didn't hold off fucking the prince of the fucking Demon King for a long ass minute with that shit. Like they really did that shit. So I don't want to hear it. Drop of Life in the third, or excuse me, in the first Fairy King went in. They went in because of that shit. So
They did. So we'll see. The sins are getting pretty. The sins are getting more legendary by the minute. It's like, all right, let's calm down. Too many legends, and I won't be able to handle myself.
Are there any more major predictions that we could come up with because of this?
Well, like, I'm curious. Like, does this now with Bond losing his immortality, like, does that make him now like the most likely to be killed off or something like that? Like, do you guys think that's a possibility?
I still
Oh,
think
damn.
Scanner will be the one.
He's already died once anyway, so you know.
Yeah, that's true.
I think Bond's
yeah,
gonna forget somewhere that he's not immortal anymore, and it's gonna fuck him up. Like he's just gonna
Yeah.
forget.
Probably
He's
like,
had it for a
oh,
while.
Yo, I would get so
Like-
mad. I would get so mad.
He's
If he
like, oh,
forgets.
shit,
He's like, oh shit, I forgot. Nigga, like,
He's like, Captain,
Well,
I'm
I
going
can see
out.
that
You
happening,
buy
but
the
it wouldn't be a
drinks.
fatal wound and be like, oh yeah.
or like,
But,
him
like,
losing-
how-
okay, I could deal with that. Like something non-fatal. Yeah, that'd
Yeah,
be fine.
it's like, don't you know that I'm undead? Wait, no, I'm not anymore.
Yeah.
damn it, I'm mortal Bond now.
With his like singing like bubble texting, like the music track behind it, like you go. I can see it. That'd be funny.
Him spitting some bars.
So next time he sees Meliodas, they're gonna be doing their little thing, right? Like they'll be like, "Hi," like Bond's head's gonna fly.
Oh,
as they
no.
get there.
Oh no,
Yeah, how-
God.
He's gonna fly on the wall, and Bond's gonna like look at him, and then he's gonna die. Oh, God, terrible.
Yeah, like how tragic would that be if Meliodas was actually the one who killed Bond?
That'd be fucking
Yo.
ridiculous.
Stop.
And Elaine's like
That's
trying
kinda
to.
funny.
He's not immortal anymore. He's dead now. You son of a bitch.
You know what's funny? There have been cases in Arthurian legend where knights have died when others literally go on rampages. So look out for the future.
Oh my god, bro.
Yeah.
Bro, that would be the only way, not the only way, but that would be a really good way to top the Elaine Bond storyline. Like, have Meliodas kill Bond.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
But
that would fit into him coming back
less-
on the demon side, on that demon shit.
I think it's less than likely though. Personally, I think it's just less likely. Only because like at the end, it's like, we don't even know what kind of conflict's gonna happen. Like, but my question is, so is Bond like a knockoff Super Saiyan now, or what? Because like I can only imagine like he's just like an enhanced human and just kind of just gets bigger and buffer. Is that what I'm looking at? Can he like do some transformation stuff? Can he transform into like that fox thing from Purgatory? That'd be pretty cool if you could still do that.
Yo.
Oh damn.
That'd be scary if you could do that. That'd be scary as all.
Spooky.
Yes. He's all like, you wanna know what's going on?
That could actually maybe negate his lack of immortality because that's giving him like armor that's
Oh, yeah.
probably stronger than just about anything else on
Like-
this plane.
He literally goes on like on this just spooky black, just spooky black, and it's like, what are you doing? I'm angry. Oh jeez.
Fox Fury.
All right, guys. That was it for today's 293 discussion. I believe Nanatsu's on break next week, correct?
Yes.
I didn't see that, but
Yeah, I didn't see that.
I heard it was on break.
Yeah, I heard-
but
heard it
it's about that time of year because Christmas is coming up anyway, so expect
true,
the holidays
true.
to take a week or two off. It's fine.
Unless Nakaba wants to come through with some cool little like side chapters, maybe some sketches come out, like anything, because it's like it's Christmas.
I mean,
take a break.
Technically,
You
all
know,
bullshit
like-
aside, bro, we're
Anything that he
supposed to be
has,
crying with this
Like
chapter. So,
damn, it's Christmas. I thought I
You
might
got
take a
some
break.
notes. You got some
You got
notes.
a
You know,
family?
just put them online or some shit. Have some upload that shit. You know how I do it. You make money. I know you make money. Shut up. Shit. What are you talking about? I can't. Come on, bro. Like you tell me
Take
that you
a
can't.
break.
Trash. It's what it is. You know what? It's what it is.
Alright,
It's
guys.
I
what it
didn't
is.
follow any of that.
So
I'm just saying. It's like
we leave off.
some stuff. It's
We leave off
Christmas.
on 293 with Bond kissing his girl in a very unacceptable way.
passionate.
Oh,
Passionate.
that's
No,
bullshit.
they were just happily hugging in the final panel.
Nah, bro, he had just finished tonguing her down. Tonguing her down.
Tongue hurt.
Chill.
Oh, I thought you were talking about the actual end of the
Nah,
chapter.
Nah, bro. Fuck that hug shit. He's in there getting
Fuck
that
that
tongue.
hug shit.
Get in that mouth. Someday,
Crazy.
I'll steal you away. Fuck out of here with that, bro. All right, guys.
Boar.
See you next time. Hop in the comment section to tell us what you thought about the chapter. Look in the description box to hit up everybody's channel. Everybody does 7 Deadly Sins content. They probably have reviews and live reactions up, so check those out. Like I said, it's on a break next week. I'll probably be a special video out for Taizai, so check that out. I'll probably do like how big is Bond's dick now or some shit like that. So check it out. Like the video. We'll see you boys next time. Yo ho!